Hi, good morning. Welcome to Red Pants Yoga. We're live this Monday morning. It's June 1st. Before we get started with our practice, I just want to say that I'm starting out with a heavier heart than I have yet for this streaming series. And I just, in a way, I feel like kind of an asshole for just going about my day-to-day, doing my live stream, announcing the exciting news that I'm experiencing in my life by being able to open a studio in the coming month. All these things that are just my life day-to-day, when there's so much. I mean, it was already, of course, this all started because of COVID-19 and the coronavirus and the shutdowns, which was hard enough, but everything going on right now in our country, it's heavy, and I feel it, and I'd feel like even more of an asshole if I kept going on with the stream and not even acknowledging that I feel like an asshole for doing it in the first place. So I just wanted to put that out there. I don't spend a lot of time on my streams trying to share a lot of deep insight or wisdom. We're really talking much about both personal and political and social events because I don't consider myself qualified. I mostly just want to show up on my mat to do my practice my teaching, and encourage you to do the same. And I have been doing this long enough. I've been doing yoga long enough that I used to need faith. I used to need to just believe that showing up on my mat, practice after practice, would be the right thing to do. And I've been doing it long enough now that I know I've experienced that even in times of such grief and intensity and anxiety, that showing up on my mat is indeed the right thing to do, because we're help to no one if we are not able to be grounded in ourselves and be able to watch our emotions and feelings, our anger and grief and frustration, and see it, recognize it, honor it. It's not about trying to get rid of it. All of those things have their place in our lives and in our practice, and I believe that. And I believe that the way to really tune into it first within ourselves is to get on the mat and breathe and move our bodies in connection with our breath. And that feels especially important today in order to honor the most recent life that was lost and the many others that have come before it, who haven't been able to continue that breath. It's tragic, and I am an ally. I just want you to know what's on my heart this morning, and that this practice, coming onto our mats and breathing here together, especially as important as it is in yoga and in this series at the beginning of it and end, I don't take for granted, or am not noticing or not recognizing that that's not a luxury. It's been afforded to everyone, and it's heartbreaking because it's the most fundamental connection we all share with one another, is the breath. So that's what's on my heart this morning. Let's get to our practice and work through all of this together. Recognize all of it. Doesn't need to be chased away, it just needs to be seen. So that's what I've got. I'm going to grab my glass of water. Thank you for joining me this morning. You need a yoga mat, some water too, and if you have blocks, this is the Bikram series, 26 postures. We go through each one of them one time for a 16-minute practice. So grab my water and we'll get started. Okay, make just a quick adjustment here. Make sure you can see everything this morning that I got going behind me. Okay. So our first posture is pranayama, standing deep breathing. Again, I think this is the most intensely I have ever felt about being mindful of this breath and appreciative for each and every one of them that we can take. So with that intention and appreciation together, we'll begin. Comfortable standing position, feet together, if that's comfortable, big toes touching. Nice and strong in the legs, pull the belly in. Make sure your booty's turned on and strong. Just check in with it. Say good morning to those glutes. Shoulders relaxed and away from the ears. So you might want to just give them a shrug up and a roll back and feel those shoulder blades slide down your back. Chin is level with the floor. Fingers interlaced, the webbing between the fingers nice and tight. Tuck them under your chin. Feel the knuckles of your thumbs resting against your neck, and your elbows are pointed down here. We're going to take some nice deep inhales through the nose and exhale, open mouth exhale. Keeping the spine straight, chin level. Let's begin. Inhale, count of 6 here. Exhale, push the chin back, open mouth exhale, look up at the ceiling, bring the elbows to wrap around towards the front. Inhale, elbows towards the ceiling, chin just drops down. Breathe so deeply here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Open mouth. Wrap the elbows around one another. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Elbows up to the ceiling. Inhale, pull, stretch out of the waist. Exhale. Drop the head back. No back bend here. Just look up at the ceiling. Let's do 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Drop the hands down, Samastitihi. So we stand here in Tadasana and just practice stillness. Just stand still for one whole breath here together. Let's move into half moon. Bend slightly at the knees a bit. Just bounce them out a bit if you need to. I usually do. Inhale, arms overhead. And take a nice, deep, good morning stretch from side to side. Maybe a couple times here. And then we're also going to go front to back. So just slight back bend, slight forward fold if you want, just by bending the knees, hinging at the hips. Just kind of wake up that spine. This 4-part half moon pose in Bikram really moves the spine in every direction. So let's warm up for it. And we'll meet back together here with hands overhead. Take a steeple grip by interlacing those fingers. Release the index fingers. And now with your biceps strong, framing your face, fingers pointed high towards the ceiling, just take a minute to check in with the shoulders. If they're shrugged up and you're in shoulder earrings, roll them back down away from the shoulders. That might cause you to have a slight bend in your elbows. Totally fine there. That'll help the shoulders relax. Pull your belly in nice and strong. Glutes are strong. Spine straight and with hips and shoulders square to the front. Inhale out of the waist, point those fingers up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bend to the right. Fall gently towards the right. Be mindful to keep those shoulders and hips square, and that can mean that that left armpit opens up a bit towards the ceiling. Just make sure you're not, by that I mean if you're falling forward and that left shoulder's falling down, just open it back up, keep them square to the front. Breathe here. If you want to make this a more dynamic posture by moving back and forth, you'll come out and find that lift again in an inhale, and then find the fold, a deeper bend in the exhale. I like to bend my knees here too and experience the differences in the way my weight shifts in my feet. And then finally, just make sure, most importantly, in this posture, where it's a long, nice side body stretch, the outside of those left hips. We don't get that very often. So just really feel that depth and change. Inhale, come up. Find that neutral lifted position again. Lift your toes here, give them a wiggle just to make sure that you've still got your weight distributed mostly in your heels and some of the balls of your feet. And then with shoulders, hips square, lifting out of the waist towards the front. On an exhale, fold to the left. So hips push out to the right, upper body falls to the left. Breathe here, keep those shoulders square, and that can mean just being mindful that that right armpit is lifted towards the ceiling. Hips shoot towards the right, upper body falls to the left. If it felt good on the other side, keep it dynamic by inhaling yourself up and out a bit, exhaling back down. This is half moon pose. Bend the knees if you want, like we did on the other side too, and just notice how that changes the weight in your feet. Breathe here. Feel that side body stretch now on the other outside right hip. Find that depth and then change. We'll come up to a neutral position here. Lift, 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 lift the chest. Inhale and look up at the ceiling. Keep those ears framed with your biceps as you lift, look up, and then on an exhale, push the hips towards the front of the room. Inhale, lift the spine. Exhale, push the hips towards the front of the room. If it feels good, you can let your neck go, let your head drop back and look at the wall behind you. Like you're falling back. Push the hips towards the front. And change. Keep the arms strong by your ears as you bend the knees and come down. Fold halfway down. Arms by the ears, nice and strong. Bend the knees as much as you need to keep your spine straight. And if it's comfortable to let your hands drop to the floor or down to blocks, go ahead. Feet are together here. Bend the knees one at a time. Walk it out. You may even crouch down all the way for a moment. Just crouch down, bend the knees completely. Feel your belly connect with your thighs here. And in this forward fold, we want to keep that belly connection with the thighs. So just keep the knees, straighten them as much as you need to, but still being able to make that connection. And then we think of lifting hips towards the ceiling, belly on thighs. I'm going to pedal it out a little more. I can really feel that one side is tighter than the other. And we just want to be able to hang out in this forward fold for a bit, hang out comfortably in it. So belly resting on thighs, let head and neck drop, let it relax and go. Shake your head out, nod at yes if that helps you. And finally, you can keep your hands comfortably in front of you on blocks, the floor, or begin to wrap them around the backs of your legs with your fingers pointed down and just moving down along your calves and ankles. Find a grip. And if you use that grip to pull on your legs with your hands, it'll help relax those shoulders away from the ears and also give you something to counter against as you lift those hips towards the ceiling. Head and neck drop. Keep the eyes open wherever you are. Nice steady gaze just in front of you. On the floor, if you have more of a lift, you're going to be looking on the floor as I am now. If you're folding over a little more deeply, your gaze may go between your legs, that space in your calves to the back wall or whatever's behind you. Breathe here. Hips towards the ceiling with every breath. And change. Bring the arms back overhead. Frame the ears as you come up to that halfway lift once more, all the way up. Inhale everything long out of the waist. Exhale, drop everything down. We'll stand for a moment in Samastitihi. Right here. And then move into awkward pose, Utkatasana. There are 3 parts to this pose. Inhale, arms up. Keep your fingers nice and strong, energy shooting out those fingertips, and have them all together like one nice blade with each hand. Step the feet 6 inches apart or hip width apart. Another way to think about it is if you make 2 fists with your hands, it's 2 fists apart with your feet. Stand up nice, straight, and tall. Relax shoulders away from your ears. And now you're just gonna sit back. Sit your booty back like you're sitting back in a chair. Shoulders stay down, keep them down, pull the belly in and sit back. Take a little peek at your toes. You should be able to still see them so your knees are not going past your toes, and give them a wiggle. That'll lift them off the ground a bit to make sure your weight is in your heels and a bit in the balls of your feet. Sit back, reach the arms forward and change. Inhale all the way up, keep the arms straight and strong and come all the way up onto tiptoes. So stay right here if you'd like. This is part 2 of Utkatasana. We're high up on our toes. Heels are as high as we can get, and you feel a stretch in the front of the ankles. Stay right here and work on this balance. Or if you want to take it a little deeper, you can begin to sink down. Gosh, I might just have to stay here. If you want to take it deeper, you may sink down and sit back, bending your knees. But keep the heels high. Keep the heels as high as you can. And if you start to fall out of it because you're going too low, you're sitting back too far, go ahead and just come back up and stay high on your toes with those heels high. So find your depth today. Wiggle around, fall out of it, it's okay. Every day is a practice. We're just practicing. And change. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, let the heels drop, but the arms stay strong here. And now inhale, heels 1 inch off the ground this time. Not quite as far as we were before. Bring the knees together and just consciously notice that space in your inner thighs. Zip it up, pull inner thighs together. And now slide down like you're sliding down a wall behind you. Spine stays straight. Heels are just slightly lifted. Shoulders still relaxed. Sink down. And change. Inhale everything up. And now bring it all down, feet together. Relax the arms, palms face forward. Samastitihi. Just breathe here. Okay, moving into eagle. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, right arm under left. Wrap your arms around one another, elbows connect in front of you. Give yourself a little hug, maybe twist it out a bit. Eagle is going to be a deep twisting pose, and we're pulling all the energy. We're going to pull it all down to one center line, down the straight front of our body. So elbows are together here. Hang out here with your arms, or if you want to continue to wrap the arms around one another, just twist them together like a rope, and really think of pulling those elbows down towards the navel and shoulders away from the ears. Sit back in your chair, shoulders square to the front, hips square to the front. And now lift the right leg. So right arm is on bottom, right leg is going to be on top. Lift that right leg and I'm very slow about this. I use core awareness and strength to lift that knee as high as possible before I wrap it around my left thigh. So sink back in the chair. That lower you can get in your chair really helps with balance. I just got a nice pop in my left ankle because it's stretching out here. And then with right leg on top of left, you can continue to wrap your legs so that they match that double wrap of your arms. But if it causes your knees or hips to swing out to the side, then back off and just rest on your right toes if you need to. Sink down or lift those toes and just stay in a balance on your left foot. Change, let it go. Inhale those arms up, walk the feet out a bit, and then swing the left arm to be under the right. Again, another hug here with opposite arm on top than you just had. Feel that stretch. Stay right here and hug if you want, or begin to wrap those arms together like we did on the other side. Think of bringing the elbows down towards the navel. Shoulders drop away from the ears. Sit back in your chair. And this time we're balanced on the right foot. As the left knee lifts, think of using your core to lift that leg all the way up, maybe to your elbows, before you cross it over the right. Breathe here. Again, sit back in that chair. It helps with balance. And then you can drop the left toes if you need a bit of a kickstand to make sure that your hips and knees are square, lined up under the elbows. You can continue to find your right calf with your left toes if you want to keep wrapping. But again, if it causes you to go sideways, tipping the hips from one side to the other or the knees, just back off of that wrap and work on one straight line. So all squeezing in towards the navel and then let it go. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Samastitihi. Just take a breath here. After we've finished these first 4 poses, we can take a water break now. So why don't you grab a drink of water? I'll do the same. My daughter's making breakfast in the back, so she's left a comment. If there's any noises that you hear, it's her in the kitchen making her crepes for bring your breakfast to class day. We still have 1 more week of school where we are. School's out on Thursday. Okay, let's move into standing head to knee. So stand here comfortably, Samastitihi. We're going to ground down into that left foot. So really spread the toes wide and feel that beginning foundation on your left foot. Really connect it in. Take a look down at it. And you're going to inhale, right knee up. So standing strong on the left foot. Weight. You'll feel it across the left foot, through the heel, through the ball of the foot. Just stand here and work on balance. Palms open towards the front. Knee is lifted, hand in line with the hip. You can stand here and stay right here, or move into a few more phases to really stretch out the hamstring. So the next step would be to inhale out of the waist. Exhale, lower down upper body across the top of that lifted right leg. And you can find a grip along your calf, ankle, or heel, or your foot. If you can reach your foot here with the spine straight, inhale, belly button in. Take a basket weave grip and hang on to that foot in a basket weave grip of your hands. The last movement I move into, and those of you still just balancing in the first stage, doing great. We'll inhale up about 2 inches, and then think of sliding that heel across the table in front of you. So slide that heel, hang on to the foot with your basket weave grip, pull the belly button in, round the toes back towards your face, strong standing leg. Breathe here and change. Let it all go. Move out of each step. Walk your feet out, and we'll prepare to stand on that strong right leg this time. So look down at that right foot. Spread the toes. Feel the weight in your heel and the ball of your foot, strong standing leg. And once you've got it, that strong foundation in place, inhale, bring left knee up to your waist. Stand right here. Relax. Relax shoulders away from ears. Work on this balance. If you like to take it a step further with me, we'll inhale out of the waist. Exhale, lower the upper body down over that left leg. Find your grip along your calf, ankle, or foot. And you see that I fall out of it, you just fall out of it, get back in. And it might be a sign that you need to back off a bit because every day, every side is different. So just breathe here. If you find that basket weave grip under your foot, hold the belly button in. Inhale yourself up about 2 inches. And on an exhale, belly button in. Slide that heel like you're sliding it across the table in front of you. Flex the toes so they come back to the face. Breathe here. And change. We'll let it go. Come out of all those positions with care. Let's move into dancer. I'm going to turn to the side here. So again, we're going to stand strong on the left foot. Find that same strong foundation that we just did for balancing stick. For this dancer pose, it's also called standing bow. Drop the right hand to your side, palm out. And I like to warm up my hips a bit with this back and forth movement, knee up, knee back, which fires the glute. And then it lets go, knee up, knee back, fires the glute. So when you've got a little warm up there in the hips, kick up and receive your right foot and your right hand. Inhale, left hand up, square to the front, shoulders and hips stay square. Begin to lift that leg. It's that same motion when your knee goes up behind you that fires the glutes on the right side. So glute turns on, kick back into your hand, and let the lift and kick of the leg bring your upper body down. Strong straight arm, pulling in front of you. Chest is lifted to help with balance. Chest is lifted, right leg kicks up. And change. Inhale everything up. Exhale, let it all go. We'll move to the other side. So strong standing right leg this time. The warm up again that I did on the other side really helps with my hips. Knee moves up and forward. And then really notice when it moves back that turns the glute on. And those strong glutes will help keep your hips square and make sure that you're not pulling on a hamstring. Okay, so with left arm down at your side, left foot in the hand. Inhale, right arm up this time. And begin that kick and that lifting of the knee behind you. Strengthens the glute. The kick and the lift brings the upper body down. Gaze is straight ahead. Don't look down or you'll go where you're looking. Find your standing bow. And change. Come on out of that. Inhale everything up. Exhale. Let it go. Move to the back of your mat. Facing the front again for balancing stick. So back of your mat, feet together. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, step forward with your left foot. Strong foundation in the left foot. Come up just on your right toes with arms stretched over your head, biceps framing the ears. Point your fingers in a steeple grip and relax shoulders away from the ears. Pull the belly in and begin to lift off those back right toes as your upper body sinks down. A lift of the foot is like a pendulum that brings the arms down, and then stretch those toes and fingertips apart from one another. Opposite forces here, stretching you out on a strong standing left leg. Change. Drop that right foot, bring the left back to meet right. Step forward now on the right foot. We'll inhale and find a lift and a lift just off the left toes, and you can certainly stay right here. This can be the max of your posture. If you'd like to take it further and work on balance, lift those left toes. As the heel lifts and becomes in line with the butt, the arms sink down, and that causes a nice straight line to happen from fingertips to toes, and then stretch them apart. Breathe here, nice strong leg you're standing on, and change. Drop the left foot, let the arms go. Nice spot to take a drink of water. I see we have a lot of chatter going on, and it has to do probably with, hi Carmen, hi Erin. Yep, Sila's in there making breakfast. Welcome everyone who has joined this morning. Okay, let's come to the front of the mat for standing separate leg stretching. So top of your mat, facing the front, facing the screen here. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, step your feet about a leg length apart with arms out to a T. I think I'm gonna grab my blocks this morning for the point at which I come halfway down. It's really nice to have blocks to rest on in that halfway point. So arms out to the T, legs strong, give a micro bend in the knee, and if you want to move side to side a bit, just kind of maybe even hula hoop your hips here, just loosen things up. It gives you a sense for where you can take it, how far you can go this morning. So micro bend at the knees, lead with the chest, push the butt back for a hip hinge. You're hinging at the hip crease where your hip meets your pelvis, belly pulled in. And here's that halfway point. Arms are out to a T. You can let them fall. This is the spot it can feel really great to let them rest on some blocks. And at this halfway point, I like to bend the knees and move the hips side to side again to prepare for an even deeper fold. So stay right here if you want with knees bent. Spine is straight behind you. And rather than kinking your neck as I'm doing to look up at the screen in front of you, let your gaze fall. Keep your neck nice and straight with your gaze on the floor in front of you. If you want to go further now with micro bend in the knee at least so that you can think of bringing that belly through between the legs. Come on down all the way to hands meeting the floor. Hips shoot high, head and neck relax, so let them drop. You can always make sure your neck is more relaxed by shaking it no or nodding it yes. And if you are comfortable with a straight spine, hips to the ceiling, and you want to take your hands to find a bind, wrap them around the back of your legs. And again, in any of these postures, what a bind helps us do is have something to grip onto that'll relax the shoulders away from the ears, and the grip will also deepen that stretch. So I'm gripping onto the back of my calves with my hands. My neck and head are relaxed, and my hips can shoot higher towards the ceiling as my head comes down. If you want to slide those hands down, the final expression in separate leg, head to knee, separate leg stretching is with your hands wrapped around the outside of your feet, crown of the head towards the mat, hips high. So find your depth, stretch it out, and change. Activate the core by lifting those arms at that halfway position in a T, and then using your core strength to lift you back up, everything together to the front of the mat and down. We'll move right into triangle. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, step feet out, a leg length apart, just like we were before, arms at the T. So we look a lot like we started in that last posture, but now's the change. We're going to turn the right toes out to the side of the room while the rest of our body is square to the front. Bend to the right knee enough so that it's stacked over the ankle. And if you need to shorten your stance and your stance looks a little more like this, no problem, just keep that knee over the ankle. Okay, so knee stacked over ankle. Tick-tock the arms at 6 and 12 so that your right hand, you can glance down at it. It's inside of your inner thigh, and begin to move it along that inner thigh to coax the knee over the right pinky toes. And with your upper body, it's still square to the front of the room. You can add a slight twist here by looking up at your lifted left hand. And as you look up and have the mobility to do this, you can begin to lower down by bending a little deeper at the knee and lower the rest of that side body down as you twist and look up towards the lifted left hand. Final little cue here is going to be to squeeze your inner thighs together like you're squeezing a beach ball between them. And change. Inhale, bring the arms to a T. Turn those right toes in, left toes out, and we'll do it on the other side. So bend that left knee, stack it over the ankle. Your upper body is square over your hips, facing the front. Just tick-tock the hands at 6 and 12. And that left hand has now found your inner thigh on the left. Go ahead and draw it out towards the knee and coax your knee to point a little more over the pinky toe. That really opens up that left inner thigh. Now I'm going to sink down by bending the knee a little more and letting my side body on the right sink. Turn, twist with the neck if it's comfortable. Look up at the lifted right hand, lifted the arm, and finally sink a bit more by letting that side body just sink down even with the hand lifted. Squeeze that beach ball between your thighs here, nice and strong. And change. Inhale, arms to a T. Everything together at the top of the mat. Exhale, let it go. We're moving into separate leg, standing head to knee. Great hamstring stretch here. Inhale, arms overhead. Find a prayer grip with your hands in prayer, across one thumb over the other. Step the feet apart, a little less wide this time, not as deep, not as wide of a stance as we had before. And now just spin on the heels to turn everything towards the right side of the room. You're facing towards the right. Your feet are down on, like they're on train tracks, so they're parallel to one another with that left foot back. Bend slightly in the right knee. Pull the belly in as you come down. Hands are still engaged, biceps strong by the ears. Come down as far as you want. If you have blocks, it can feel so good here to separate the hands and let them rest on blocks as you come down. The blocks just frame that front right foot. You should feel a great hamstring stretch on the right side. Belly in, shoulders away from the ears. Final expression in this posture is to tuck the chin to the chest and bend the knee enough to get the forehead to the knee. It can push back against the knee to straighten the leg. And change. I'm going to inhale my blocks all the way up with me. Take them with me. You can have prayer hands still. And come around over to the left side. I'm going to drop the blocks to frame my foot here. So it really helps keep the core activated if you have your arms engaged either in some folds they're out to a T and sometimes they're up, biceps framing the ears. So that's where we're at this time. Biceps by the ears, hands in prayer. Bend that left front knee and pull the belly in as you fold over the left leg. Again, I'm going to drop my hands to the blocks that are framing my front left leg. Let the head and neck go. Feel that stretch in your left hamstring. Final expression, tuck the chin to the chest, forehead to knee. And change. Inhale, arms back up along your head there. Everything together at the front of the mat, and exhale, let it go. One last standing posture here before we hit the floor. We're going to stand in tree. Tree is really such a grounding and centering posture, and I think it'd be a really nice mental, psychological exercise today for me to be pretty quiet in tree, and we will just watch our thoughts. I know, like I began the stream today, mine are pretty heavy, but just, consider what has brought you here to your mat today, and extending that gratitude and empathy and love towards all of our brothers and sisters. We are also connected through the breath. So let's think of that as we head into tree. Strong standing left leg. Windshield wiper the right as you need, and I'll do minimal cueing here as you find your tree, and we'll just take a few breaths together in stillness. Okay, let's let that go on the right side. We'll stand now on a strong right foot and open up the left hip as needed. Find your tree here, and again, we'll just breathe together. Breathe together. Honor those we've lost, and keep our hearts in empathy and open minds to those who are still fighting. Namaste. Great standing series there. Go ahead and take a drink if you need to, and lie down on your backs for Shavasana, and we'll begin the floor series. Running over time a bit today. Started a bit late. Did some talking to begin. I'm not worried about it as usual, especially now that fewer and fewer people have school. The school hours is what was keeping a lot of us on a schedule, even more than working from home. So this will go over time a bit. We'll probably go to about 9:15 Pacific time. And if you're joining me later in the day, it doesn't matter to you anyway. So settle in for Shavasana. Okay, from corpse pose, we're going to move into wind removing pose. Excuse me. Let's start on the left side this time. So left knee up towards the chest. Bring that knee towards the chest. Take a grip on the shin with your hands, or if you really want to get that knee up even higher, you can find opposite grip on the elbows. And then begin to pull that knee down towards the armpit, towards the side body, and really feel a pinch on the left hip crease. Activate the right leg like it's standing in place. Maybe squeeze the glute, feel it against the mat on the right leg, pull it on the left, and change. Let the left leg go and bring the right knee up this time. Hang on to that shin with your hands. Or if you want to find an even deeper grip and pull, you can grab opposite elbows and then pull that knee down towards your armpit on the right, towards the side body. Feel a pinch in the right hip crease, and then turn on that left leg like it's standing. You've got your foot flexed, your calf, and even your left glute. Feel it, give it a squeeze and feel it against the floor. And change, right leg down. Now both knees immediately come up, knees towards the chest. Squeeze them in. You may need to curl up to get a nice tight grip. Rock back and forth a bit if you want, but ultimately you want to send that spine back down the mat. And just imagine the entire length of your spine in a straight line from your tailbone to the top of your neck, which you can straighten even more by just giving your chin a tuck towards your chest. One straight, strong spine down on the mat. Squeeze in, squeeze the knees in, pull the legs in, and change. Both feet down, hands open towards the ceiling for Shavasana. Breathe here. And we're going to prepare for a yogi sit-up. So skip the step if you have pain in your lower back or you avoid sit-ups, but otherwise hands over the head. Wrap the thumbs against one another. Inhale, arms up high. Exhale, sit up. And on those yoga sit-ups, we want 2 audible breaths. A quick exhale when we sit up. Turn around, come down on your belly for cobra. So down on the belly, let your forehead drop to the mat as we prepare, and zip up your cobra tail. Connect your ankles, calves, and inner thighs. Zip them all up, activate them. Press your hands down under your shoulders and bring elbows together. Squeeze elbows in towards one another. And then just inhale and begin to lift. Gently peel your upper body off the mat. Steady, straight gaze in front of you. You don't need to overarch your neck by lifting your chin too high. Just keep it in front of you. But lift with those lower back muscles. No weight in the hands. You could even lift your fingers if you want. Elbows in towards one another. Shoulders away from the ears. Lift, lift, lift. And change. Drop. Left chin down on the mat. Belly down, Shavasana. The palms are turned up towards the ceiling. Heels kind of fan out from one another. Just breathe here. And moving into half locust, flip your palms so that they're down on your mat and rock on your hips from side to side to tuck those hands under your hips. Pinkies may be touching underneath your hips. Feel the hip bones press into your forearms. Chin is on the mat and stays on the mat. For this entire posture, lift the right leg, lift it, turn it on, fire up the glute, lift, lift, lift that leg, straight leg, lengthen it out behind you, give it a lift, and change, drop it down. Now let the right leg go completely relax as you lift the left. Lift the leg, use your left glute here, point the toes, lengthen it behind you, give it another lift, and change. And now we're just going to tuck the chin a little more and press the lips down onto the mat as you scoot your fingers down so that fingertips go more towards the knees as much as possible, and really push those palms into the mat, lips on the mat, and lift both legs now. And change. Go ahead and release the arms. Give them a break and rest your right cheek down on the mat for belly down Shavasana. Take a nice deep breath here. On your next inhale, inhale arms out to your side for full locust, like airplane wings. Your hands are straight out from your shoulders. Zip up the cobra tail that we had before. So really consciously think about bringing your feet together and zip up the line all the way up to your inner thighs. Chin on the mat to begin. And exhale everything out to prepare. Inhale, 747, taken off. So lift those thighs off the mat. Lift your feet. Lift your arms. And even with everything lifted here, do drop your shoulders away from your ears still. Just breathe here. Give it a little lift, a little more with the lower body, upper body. Change. Drop it all down. Left cheek on the mat. Belly down Shavasana. Nice deep breath here. Now we're going to move into floor bow. We've really prepared for this with those last couple postures. So bend at the knees and send the heels back to the booty. You can just lay on your belly with your knees bent and your upper body lifted off the mat and hold there to prepare and work towards the bind, which if you have the bind, head into that now. That's kicking your feet back into your hands here. Breathe here. Begin with your knees together, inner thighs zipped up. Drop the head down to find a neutral position with your neck. Exhale all the air out. Inhale, lift and kick. Kick your feet back into your hands. Nice stretch in the quadriceps and the front side of your thighs. So feel that nice stretch. Squeeze the glutes, kick into the hands, and you can rock back and forth a bit on your belly. Floor bow here. Shoulders still away from the ears. And change. Drop the knees gently. Let the arms go. Lay down on your right cheek, belly down, Shavasana. Okay, let's head into that yogi push-up now. So plant your hands under your shoulders, spread the fingertips wide, and flip the toes. And begin already, before you even push up, thinking about your body as one strong, straight board. Bring the elbows towards one another, keep them in, and push yourself up into plank. Nice and strong. I'm gonna walk my plank out a bit just to stretch the back of my ankles. And then bend at the knees and start to walk forward on your knees to the front of your mat for fixed fern. So we reach the top of our mat. Knees are together under our hips. Just span the heels out so that you have enough room for your hips to sit back behind your feet. If you need a blanket or a cushion under your tailbone, really try to make a connection with the tailbone onto something. If you don't need that, you can begin to push the tissue away, externally rotate that tissue in the calves as you sit back. Sit the booty back between the heels. Fixed fern here. Find your comfortable position in a straight spine. And just take a nice deep breath. Really nice opener along the inside of the ankles there, the knees. And change will come on out of that. Keep your core engaged and your belly strong as you lift yourself out of it, and then turn around, lie down on your back for Shavasana. So Shavasana, hips are heavy, toes span open, hands up to the ceiling, palms to the ceiling. Take a breath. On your next inhale, bring arms overhead and hook the thumbs. Flex the toes, and exhale, sit up. Come around and touch those flex toes to finish off that sit up and give yourself a hamstring stretch. And then come to the back of the mat for half tortoise. So at the back of the mat, sit comfortably, hips on heels. Inhale, arms overhead. Prayer grip here. So your pinkies really want to be pressed together, all your fingers pressed together. Pinkies lead and cross one thumb over the other. Begin to hinge down at that hip hinge as you come down with a straight spine, and really try to think of getting your forehead or nose to the mat before your hands. That'll open up the armpits. So once your forehead or nose meets, find the blade of those pinkies, press into the mat, open up the armpits, and let your hips be heavy on your heels. Breathe here. And change. Arms are strong, framing the ears again as you lift with your core strength. Lower down, lie down on your back for Shavasana. Feel yourself heavy on the mat. The backs of your hands on the floor here, your shoulder blades and hips. Take some breaths here, nice deep breath. On the next inhale, brings arms overhead, flex the toes, sit up, 2 breaths, touch the toes, and turn around to come to the front of the mat for camel. So knees under hips. Your heels are behind your knees. Everything is in a nice parallel shape from heels to knees all the way up to hips. Inhale here. Bring your hands to the back, your back, like you've got hands in your back pockets and elbows come together. And Even though we're pushing the hips out, don't let the belly relax here to push hips out. Keep the belly pulled in and strong and push the hips out that way. It protects the spine. Lift the chest as you push hips out while the belly stays strong. And let your head fall back if it's comfortable for your neck. And just push those hips forward. Bring your elbows together behind you. Open up at the chest and lift at the chest. And change. Go ahead and have a strong core as you sit back on your heels. Maybe take just a minute here so that you don't get lightheaded before you turn around. And lie down on your back for Shavasana. Breathe here. Inhale, arms overhead. Hook those thumbs. Exhale, sit up. Come around and touch your toes. And come to the back of your mat for rabbit. So sitting back with your hips nice and heavy on your heels as we started the last time. This is going to be the only fold that we do in this practice where I want you to be really conscious of mindfully rounding your back, starting with your spine. So we're going to round it down completely. Begin by tucking the chin to the chest and then pulling the belly in. Chin to chest, pull the belly in. Even look down at your belly and watch it go in as you come down. Maybe forehead grazes along your knees. You want the crown of your head resting gently on the mat. Find a grip on your heels with your hands and then lift the hips. Use that grip to keep your shoulders away from the ears, chin to chest, pull the belly in, hips towards the ceiling. Change. Sit back on your heels and keep your chin tucked as you unround, straighten out. Chin is the last to go, and lie down on your back for Shavasana. Breathe here. Prepare for that yoga step. Bring arms overhead, cross the thumbs, flex the toes, and sit up. Come around, touch the toes, and face the front for separate leg stretching. Let's start with the left leg this time. A little change up from usual. Left leg out, maybe send the heel towards the front corner of your mat. Keep your right leg tucked in to whatever point is comfortable. You can stay right here. I think it's a really nice stretch to take your inner thigh with your hands and give it an external rotation and just kind of work on maybe a little massage there. Feel really good. Stay right here. Make sure your both sit bones are centered down on the mat so that you're not leaning towards one side or the other. Be centered here. If you want to add a fold and twist into this, we'll inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, as all that oxygen leaves your body, it allows you to twist and then fold, leading with the chest. Micro bend that left knee or macro bend it. Give it a huge bend if you need to bring your chest down to your leg. If you can reach your thigh and let your belly rest on your thigh, let the head and neck go. You can begin to straighten that leg if you had to do a deep knee bend. Give it a little straighten. Feel the kind of stretch that you get with that. And also think about gravity, just bringing your right knee down on that bent right leg. Gravity lets the knee come down as you stretch over to the opposite side on the left. Finally, if you want a nice side stretch, you can open up armpit towards the ceiling. Go back and forth there, or just leave that opening and feel the side stretch along your right hip. And just play with all these different variations and figure out what you need this morning. And we'll inhale to come up here. Tuck the left toes in this time. Again, think of gravity, just letting that knee sink down on it. Don't force it. Right heel is out. I'm gonna have my visual of my right heel toward the corner of my mat. Settle in squarely. Hip bones both on, or sit bones both on the floor. And just stay right here. If it felt good to grab that tissue on the inside of your right inner thigh and kind of give it a massage, opening towards the outside, external rotation, try that. If you want to move on, we'll inhale and lift. Exhale, twist. Really audibly exhale that air out and feel it leave your belly and your diaphragm, which allows you to twist a little deeper. Bend to the right knee as much as you need to come down and meet it with your chest. Let your head and neck go last. And if it felt good to take the side body stretch on the other side, you can also do that. Lift that left armpit up towards the ceiling. Now I've got a nice deep stretch all the way down my left hip. And change. We'll come up, bring both legs center straight out in front of you. Move the tissue out from under your booty if you need to really connect those sit bones down to the ground. Flex the toes back towards your face. That may cause your knees to bend a little to be comfortable. And then just sit right here. Feel this with your core strong and your hamstrings stretched out in front of you. If you want to take it deeper, you can fold, hinging at the hips towards your legs here, chest leads. And find that connection with belly to thighs by bending your knees as much as you need to before you let your head and neck go. Okay, change, come on up, and we'll move into final spinal. So we'll start with, we're gonna keep going with the opposite leg that we usually do. We'll start with left leg on top this time. So with your right leg, either tucked under your left, or if you need to keep it straight out, experiment with what feels good based on your knees and hips. Take that left leg, it's crossed on top of the right. Find more of a twist if you can by crossing your foot over your knee here. Press into the mat with that left foot. Feel both sit bones equally resting on the ground. Inhale, find length. Exhale, hear the breath leave your body as you twist towards your left side, towards that top left leg. Find your twist there. And connect somewhere on a bind by connecting your hand to your leg, your elbow to your knee, and push there to deepen that twist. And let that go. Come on out of it, untwist, and then we'll move to the other side. So this time, right leg is going to be on top. Left leg can be straight with right leg crossed over it, or if it's comfortable, bend that left knee. Your knees are stacked one on top of the other. You can have your right foot pressed down into the mat. Find evenness under your hips. And then with a bind and an exhale that you can hear that oxygen leaving, twist over your right leg. Breathe here. All right, let's untwist, come out of that. Take a sip of water and we'll move into breath of fire. Find a comfortable seated position. Practice a few times if you need to. The idea is to exhale, nice, sharp, audible exhale that is achieved by snapping your belly in when you exhale. So the snapping of the belly in pushes the air out. So if you need to put your hands on your belly and practice a few times, just get a feel for what that feels and looks like. And we'll begin at my cueing with about 30 of those. I'll let you know when we've got like our last 5. So just rest your hands comfortably at this point so that you really make sure shoulders are relaxed from the ears. Nice broad chest, shoulders down, belly strong. We're going to prepare by inhaling here. Nice deep exhale together. Let all the air go. Inhale halfway here and begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it all go. Okay, that concludes our 26 postures. Let's lie down and take Shavasana for about 2 minutes. We'll end right at 9:15 this morning. And yeah, just settle in. I'll let you know when it's time. Lie down on your back. Let everything just get really heavy. Feel that mat underneath you. Close your eyes. If you're like me and have things going on in the background, just notice those different sounds and smells and things happening, but know that you are exactly where you need to be right now. Taking just 2 minutes for yourself here to let the body relax and help integrate mind and body together. All the movement you just did, the deep concentration it took, and also the times maybe your mind wandered. All of it is exactly as it needs to be. If you find that you've had any sort of self-criticism or judgment toward yourself, please let that go. Just breathe. It's completely normal during Shavasana for the mind to wander. That's exactly what our minds are meant to do, is wander and think and maybe try to problem solve, but just notice it. And bring it back to just your breath. You can be fully present in this moment by just taking note of that inhale and exhale. And my fellow yogis, believe it or not, it's already been 2 minutes. It goes so fast. So feel free to stay in Shavasana if that works for you. If you'd like to join me in bringing some more attention back to movement, just blink open the eyes to start. Or even before you blink open the eyes, you can just kind of feel where your tongue is in your mouth. That really is a great check-in to notice whether or not you've been holding tension in your jaw. So just feel the tongue in your mouth, blink open your eyes, Wiggle fingers and toes, or take a nice deep good morning stretch. Hands, arms overhead. And whatever way works for you to find a comfortable seated position, rolling up onto your side first or rocking up, whatever you need to do. Find that comfortable seated position. Thanks for joining me this morning. June 1st is a great time. I love the beginning of a new month. It's a really lovely time to set new intentions for yourself, for what you want out of this month. Holding it softly in your hands, because as we all have experienced, especially in the past several weeks and months, so much is out of our control. So hold those intentions lightly, but still be thoughtful about them, and give yourself and everyone else a little extra empathy and compassion and patience. Thanks for joining me. I hope to do the same, and I will see you on Wednesday for another Bikram practice, and then again Friday morning for Vinyasa. Today's my first day at the studio that I'm going to be working on renovating to bring up to a great space for practice as soon as studios are able to open and serve our students safely once more. So I'm really excited for that. And yeah, thank you for being with me on this journey. The light in me sees, honors, and acknowledges the light in every one of you. Namaste.